Angela would have to take me with her, and she would cut out of school or be smoking in the schoolyard, and then I would go home because I was 6 years younger than her, and I would tell my mother, Angela's smoking.
And listen, not everybody's going to agree with my decision. I can give a fuck less. You're in that position, it's you who got to face it, then you do what you need to do.
Little Changolini, he gets to the jail and
steal cars from Maryland and take them to Delaware to a chop shop.
The inside prison in Thailand, as well as what Victor Malarek, the reporter, did to get me out of there.
And I sat down and thought about it for the longest time, okay? But once I made up my mind, it was about survival. I need to take care of my kids and take care of my family. And when a guy's not being loyal to you, how could you be loyal to him?
Welcome to Chattin with Staxx. Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about the murder of Frank Cali. He was known as the Ghost Gambino by the FBI. And the reason he was known as the Ghost Gambino was because he only was arrested one time in his whole life. And he had different ways to stay under the radar of the FBI and law enforcement. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. I appreciate everyone who comes through, checks out my channel. So we're going to start off with Frankie Boy Cali. So Frankie Cali was a capo in the Gambino family. He was killed March 13th, 2019. He was also known as Frankie Boy. He was a mobster and eventually becoming the acting boss of the Gambino crime family. Law enforcement considered Cali to have been a Gambino ambassador to the Sicilian Mafia and linked him to other Mafia families in Palermo. So they call this dude the Ghost Gambino. Lucky Luciano, what's up with you, man? Shout out to you. Thank you for joining me, man. Richie, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for joining me on this one. This is a good one. This is a really good story. So let's get into it. So the Gambino Ghost, FBI files reveal how Mafia capo Frank Cali dodged arrest for decades as he rose from phone card schemes to multi-million-dollar real estate empire before being shot dead by a madman. Now, the dude shot him dead because he was like a conspiracy theorist. People had it. They thought that, I even thought that this kid was the niece's boyfriend to Frankie Cali, and somehow Frankie got in the way of their relationship and he ended up killing Frankie. But I don't know how true that is. Now, this is an old picture of Frankie. This is a new one. This is what he looked like when he passed away. A lot of people know him from this picture or this one. Now, this is the only time he's ever been arrested. This was in 2008. In early 2003, Cali and fellow captain Lenny Marrera began extorting mob taxes from Joseph Valero, an owner of a trucking company, and was involved in building NASCAR Speedway on Staten Island. Paid tens of thousands of dollars tribute to D'Amico, and the Gambino boss, Nicholas Carrazzo, in 2004 to avoid prison time for a cocaine conviction. Valero began working with federal authorities as an informant. Valero's undercover work led to a massive indictment 4 years later. On February 8, 2008, Cali and 61 other New York Cosa Nostra associates were arrested and charged with federal racketeering charges as part of Operation Old Bridge. Old Bridge terminated the drug trafficking between the Sicilian Mafia and the Gambino family. Prosecutors proclaimed Cali acted as the Gambino ambassador to the Sicilian mobsters and as a liaison between D. Amico and the Sicilian connections with the Agnerillo family. Cali was charged with racketeering, extortion, conspiracy, along with D'Amico and Di Mara. On June 4th, 2008, Cali pleaded guilty to conspiracy to extort money from Valero. Cali was incarcerated in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, known as the Tombs. 10 months later, on April 6, 2009, he was released from prison. Now, that was the only time he ever was arrested. Around 2009, Cali's uncle, John Gambino, was elevated to family's ruling panel, according to court papers filed Brooklyn Federal Court. They demanded Cali avoid all contact with Gambinos except for weddings or holiday celebrations approved in advance by Cali's probation officer. Wow, that's insane. Craziness. So, how this happened, how he ended up getting killed. This guy, the murderer, his name is Anthony Camello. And he says that he was sent there by Donald Trump to kill Cali. So what happened was, it was early in the morning, and this guy Anthony drives up to Frank Cali's house. It's like a mansion. I'll show you the overview. Here's the overview. He pulls up on the side of the gray truck, right? He's in a pickup truck. So what he did was, he drove past the truck. He reversed, smashed into the truck. Now, Frank Cali sees this from the door. He comes running outside, and he's like, comes and talks to the guy Anthony. And there's surveillance footage of them talking to each other. And I guess they're talking like, oh, you hit the truck, blah, blah, blah. And he says, in the report that I read, they shook hands. They were talking for a minute. They shook hands. Once Cali turned around, Anthony Camillo pulled the gun out and shot him and killed him. Shot him a whole bunch of times right in front of his house. His wife, kids were out there. They were in the house at the time. And they said that the police found him. He did do time in prison, a little bit. Just a little bit of time in federal prison in MDC, Brooklyn. It looks like he did about a year, maybe a little more. It says, so in the surveillance footage, the police are called because of shots fired or whatever. And the son runs out there, and he was heard laying over the body saying, Papa, Papa. And he was dead. It was too late. The dude came up and shot him. Now, this is a picture from the back of Frank Cali's house. This is what the back of the house looks like. It's insane. The house is worth like 1.4 million, I believe. And it's on Staten Island. Now, this is the killer. We're going to go a little bit over what this dude's all about. But I believe he's not even going to be going to trial. I believe he was found not competent to stand trial. So he's not even going to pay for his crime. And if you can look close on one of these pictures, you can see there's a handprint. There's a blood handprint on the Escalade. You can see it in this picture. I'll bring it up right here. You can see the bloody handprints. That was him after he got shot. Frankie got shot. He was like trying to, climb or whatever he was trying to do. So the motive, they say, is because this guy Anthony Camello says that Donald Trump sent him there to kill him. So it says the death. Cali died at Staten Island University Hospital, but I believe he was already dead. On March 13th, 2019. That's my father's birthday. Shout out to my pops. He died at age 53. That's pretty damn young. So he was shot at nighttime. It wasn't in the morning. I thought it was in the morning, but it was at nighttime. It was around 9:30, it says. It says, after being shot at around 9:20 p.m. in front of his home on Hilltop Terrace, he was buried 6 days later on Staten Island. This is the first murder of a New York crime boss since 1985 assassination of Paul Castellano, who was the boss of the Gambino family. So a really interesting thing is they suspected that when this happened, that Gene Gotti had something to do with it. That's what the FBI thought. They thought it was a power grab, and he was trying to have him assassinated to, I don't know, take over the family or something, but it turns out that wasn't the case. It was this guy, and he was doing it because he was mentally insane. What's good, David? How you doing? Jay Costanza, how are you, bro? So it says, let me see, shooting. All right. Assassination of Paul Castellano's boss. All right, surveillance video shows a pickup truck striking Cali's parked Cadillac. A subsequent conversation between the driver and Cali, and then the shooting. Cali had tried to evade the killer by using the vehicle as a shield. So he was already shot. He was hit 10 times with a 9mm handgun. 10 times. So he was probably shot, and then he was like scurrying around the vehicle trying to get away from him. He's like trying to get away from him. He had blood on his hands, put his hands up on the truck, trying to get away from the dude. I think the back tail light looks shot out too. But he was shot 10 times. Damn, I didn't know he was shot that many times. It's insane. On March 16th, 24-year-old suspect Anthony Camello was arrested in Brick, New Jersey by New York Police Department and U.S. Marshals to face murder charges on Staten Island. Authorities originally believed the crime may have been related to a personal dispute, possibly a romantic matter. Remember, I was telling you guys that At first, they thought it had to do with Frank Cali's niece that was dating this guy, and they thought that was the reason why. And it was not organized crime activity. On April 3rd, Camilo was indicted and is being held in protective custody in undisclosed New York City correctional facility. On May 10th, Camilo pleaded not guilty to murder and weapons possession charges, although he initially confessed to the murder to police. One of the news reports cited an unnamed mob expert as stating he is almost certainly marked for death. Camilo has already texted that his family is marked. So they're saying that this dude is marked for death by the Gambino family for what he did to Frankie Cali. And the Sicilian Gambinos don't play games. You guys know the regular Gambinos don't play games. It doesn't matter if it's 2022. It doesn't matter if it's 1985. Bullets are still the same. Thank you, Costanza. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was definitely a tragedy, man. Yeah, he was into that wacko shit. But he's being Joe, how you doing? Joe Della. Shout out to everyone who's tuning in this evening. I appreciate it. This dude lost his mind. So now he's marked for death. He's in prison. He's stuck. And who knows? He's in protective custody, but they always end up getting to him. He murdered a top Gambino. Like, he's not getting away with that. I'm sure he already had threats on his life. It's already been said that he had threats on his life and his family's lives. Why he would do that is beyond me. Just like some other people I could think of why they do shit is beyond me. But hey, you know, some people think they're invincible and they think they can't be touched. And they run their mouth. And they do what they think they could do whatever they want. Threaten people, do this and that. Until shit catches up with them, you know? And I don't wish violence on anyone, man. So Frankie Cali, he only been arrested one time in his whole life. It's insane. He was eventually the acting boss of the crime family. He's considered a ghost. All right, it says, in July 2019, Camilo's defense attorney stated that he had become obsessed with Qanon. How the hell do you say that, man? Conspiracy theories, believing Cali was a member of a deep state. Camilo was convinced that he was enjoying the protection of President Donald Trump himself to handcuff Cali and place him under citizen's arrest, as Camilo was attempted months earlier in New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, as well as California Member of Congress Maxine Walters. The reason why Cali was targeted was unclear. It appeared to mention the Mafia. The New York Times reported that at his first court appearance, he displayed symbols and phrases associated with QAnon scrawled on his hand in pen. Defense attorney sought to prove Camilo not guilty by reason of mental defect. In November 2019, Camilo refused to take psychiatric exam and was warned by the judge that his refusal could jeopardize his right to an insane defense. The judge also denied a motion to suppress his initial confession. In June of 2020, Camilo was found mentally unfit to stand trial. So that means, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Is he going to go to a mental hospital for the rest of his life? Do they keep them there for a certain amount of years and see if they're okay and what's going to happen? Like, I don't understand what that means, okay? He's unfit to stand trial, but what does that mean? Is that how you say it? The QAnon? QAnon? QAnon. 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 Some weird shit, man. Crazy people out there. There's a lot of undiagnosed mental health, and this guy is a prime example of that. Who knows? Maybe he knows that Frank Cali was with. He's mentally unfit, yet Milwaukee Cannibal was saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You're saying Jeffrey Dahmer was sane to stand trial, but this guy is insane? Doesn't make sense to me at all. He's going to go to the hospital for the criminally insane. Is what it means. He may never be let out. I think that if they give them medicine and shit like that, and they're displaying normal behavior, I don't know if they can charge them with the crime after that, but I think they can let them out of the psychiatric hospital. I really think so, and that's pretty crazy. I was locked up with the guy who put his wife through the wood chipper, Richard Crafts. He is out of prison right now. He is out of prison. His wife was divorcing him. He ended up taking her, cutting her up, putting her in a freezer, and putting her in a wood chipper into a river. And he got parole, and he's out of prison now. So crazier things have happened. You know, the system is pretty whacked out. It really is. Once someone gets locked up in a mental prison, it's hard to get out. There's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of people with mental health that are in regular prison, and there's a lot of just criminals probably who pretend to have mental illnesses so that they can go to a place that's a little more cushy, you know? Because I'm sure the mental hospital is nothing like prison. I'm sure of it. Here's a picture of Frank Cali under surveillance on the right. This is a picture of his grave. This is a picture of the guy who shot him. That's the guy on the left. Obviously, when he wasn't in prison. Why you would throw your whole life away? The kid was young. I mean, the kid was 20-something, I think, right? How you doing, Angel? Yes, he is not getting prosecuted. They said that he is unfit to stand trial. So it says they reported that at his first court appearance, he had symbols. In June 2020, Camellia was found mentally unfit to stand trial. He will not be prosecuted for killing Frankie Cali. And it's insane that they would do that. So what happens with him? Does he go to a mental hospital for the rest of his life? Because I'm sure that's not going to be fun either. A lot of people, like, them people are not fun. Them people are not. There's probably really dangerous people in that psychiatric hospital too. You know? I can imagine the things that go on there. So it says Cali was once arrested. So he served 16 months in prison, Frank Cali. He was only arrested once in his life in 2008, and he served 16 months. This is the most recent picture, I believe. It says by the time he was shot dead at age 53, Qanon madman outside of his red brick house, an upmarket Todd Hill neighborhood on Staten Island, Cali had developed real estate empire. He started off with phone scheme, and it went all the way up to real estate. Yeah, like phone cards. Back in the day, you used to have to buy a phone card for your phone, and you would type in this number, and you'd be able to call. You'd be able to call all over the place, all over the world. John Hinckley, yeah, man. He was supposed to get released too, John Hinckley. The guy who shot Kennedy was supposed to get released. Insane. It says that this dude was trying to put him under house arrest. It says Cali was a complete opposite of the flashy former boss, Dapper Don John Gotti. He basically a ghost, officials said at the time. Cali started out a crew under John D'Amico and Jackie the Nose, who became the acting boss of the family in 2005, the Times reports. He first fell on the FBI's radar in the spring of 1996, when he was around 30 years old, for helping lead a phone card fraud scheme for the Gambino crime family from Park Avenue office building, according to the Post. By November, FBI agents in New York had conducted several Gambinos were involved in the production and distribution of telephone travel cards, and they committed a number of federal crimes as part of the scheme, including money laundering, including tax violation, mail fraud, and wire fraud. It goes without saying that the telephone card industry is one of the most important sources of illegal income for the Gambino family, one of the agents wrote in the report. As part of the scheme, Cali, along with D'Amico, Joe Watts, allegedly created a company called CNC to distribute phone cards, selling them on the street at the best price per country, offering the best discount to distributors. The charges on the card would then be billed to a Georgia-based WorldCom. The FBI agents estimated the scheme cost telephone companies $94 million in October 1997, when agents in New York first contacted their counterparts in Atlanta about the bust-out scheme. According to one of the documents obtained by the Post, one member of the crime family paid WorldCom only a small percentage of his outstanding balance throughout the 10-month scheme. Gambino members such as Frank Cali and others lined their pockets with millions in cash. The report added, in the beginning, CNC paid their debt and was considered trustworthy by WorldCom. However, CNC did not continue to pay their debt, and then they would just take the cash. At the time, the feds listed Cali as just a proposed soldier of the family. They didn't know. They didn't know he had taken the blood oath yet. But from there, the Post reports, agents became increasingly interested in Cali's whereabouts, tailing him in Brooklyn, photographing him with associates. And they also interviewed confidential sources about him. In October 97 report, an agent wrote He was doing a spot check on 18th Avenue in Bensonhurst, recording that Cali was walking with an unidentified man before entering the Points After Sports Bar and Grill. After, by July, another agent created a report entitled Surveillance of Frankie Cali on 18th Avenue, Brooklyn, including pictures of him and several others at Tony's Luncheonette. I think I got that picture. Let me show you the picture they're talking about. This is it. The agency finally categorized him as recently made member of the Gambino family in March of 1997. Just 1 year later, a grand jury convinced in the Eastern District of New York, but decided not to bring charges against Cali in the phone card scheme. Why is that? They must have paid people off. Something must have happened, because why would they not bring charges if they had him? Federal charges, though, were later filed against John Gotti Jr. That's probably why, because they wanted Jr. It says federal charges, though, were later filed against John Gotti Jr., the reputed leader of the family at the time, but was dropped by prosecutors. He told the Post, "I was a victim. I lost a lot of money on that deal." Meanwhile, Cali continued to rise in the ranks of the crime syndicate until he pleaded guilty to extortion case in 2008. The case involved a plan to build a NASCAR track in Staten Island, but the Gambino family controlled the trucking operation and would have to haul dirt to fill in the track's foundation. His lawyers at the time described the gangster to the Times as smart, mild-mannered, and low-keyed. But prosecutors in Brooklyn highlighted his involvement in the phone card scheme and other operations, as they argued that he should be locked up. The prosecutors claimed that he took a percentage of the proceeds from the annual Italian festival and installed illegal Joker poker video machines in cafes in Brooklyn, splitting the money with the cafe owners after providing Gambino family with 10% of the cut. At one of the hearings, the Post reports, prosecutor Joey Lipton told the judge that Cali, who had risen to the rank of captain, was only successful in avoiding jail time for these past crimes because of his ability to hide from the spotlight. Cali, like other members of the family, his sworn blood oath to the organization, commit criminal activity. He said Cali had been successful in fulfilling that oath, in a large part because he had been careful. But he was ultimately sentenced to just 16 months in prison. And when he got out, he allegedly continued his rise in the crime family, reporting rising to boss in 2015 after acting boss Dominic Carfellu stepped down. Cali used his influence to build real estate empire with substantial holdings in the Dominican Republic. He also owned business that imported tomato sauce, olive oil, mineral water, as well as large fruit store in Brooklyn, and later an Italian supermarket. As boss, prosecutors said he tapped his connections in Italy, imported many members and associates in his crew from Sicily. They had been seen as men of influence and power, according to Times. He was also identified in 2014 and as an associate of Brooklyn Baker Franco Lepora, who was suspected of playing a role in the heroin pipeline from Italy to the United States. The case drew a lot of attention, the Times reports, because it seems to suggest Italian crime group behind the pipeline was seeking to expand into New York. Another thing they said was that at his funeral, they had FBI agents posted up, and they were getting surveillance photos of different people. What's going on, everybody? I'm looking forward to that show tonight, Angel, with Chicky's attorney. Shit, Robert, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate that, man. Yes, that's Angel Gotti, Angela. I'm trying to catch up with all these comments. Thank you for coming and checking out my show, man. I hope I'm not disappointing. Apparently he was attempted to put Cali under citizen's arrest and he killed him. Yeah, that's what it says. So, put him under citizen's arrest, right? He was trying to put him under citizen's arrest, but how did he know his status in the family? Was it from his knowledge, maybe from being around the family? Like, what do you guys think? How did he know he was involved with anything if he wasn't doing business with this guy? Yeah, I can't wait till that show tonight. It's going to be a really good one. Chicky's attorney is pretty smart. He knows his stuff, and he doesn't represent rats. Shout out to Chicky's attorney. Shout out to Chicky. Shout out to Damien. Beantown, what's up, man? I'm doing great. Everything is great over here, man. I really can't complain. Has anyone wondered if they are surveillance video regarding Angel? Has anyone ever wondered if they're in surveillance video? I'm sure I'm in some. I've been to different mob locations all over the country. I'm sure I'm in a whole bunch. Whatever. It's all good. He dated the niece. Yeah, that's right. He dated the niece, right? He dated a niece. I suppose that's how. Whack job. Thought Frank Cali. What is that Qanon thing? I never even heard that until I read this article. I don't even know what that is. I never heard of that before in my life. Don't know what it is. Hell yeah, John Gotti was a real man. He died like a real man. He was one of the real. He was man, if he was around, a lot of people wouldn't be talking the way they are, and they wouldn't be acting the way they do. I know that's a fact. I know it's a fact. And listen, times haven't changed. It's just people. Times hasn't caught up with people. You know what I'm saying? It all comes out in the wash. People have malice and hate in their heart, and they're going to project that to other people. That's the type of people they want to be. Then, hey, let them be that type of person. I'm not going to be that type of person. I stay far away from negative people. You know what I'm saying? I try to. No, mental health issues. He was obsessed with the niece. Oh, so he wasn't the boyfriend. He was obsessed with the niece, right? Is that what you're saying? And he could have concocted this whole, I had to put him under citizen's arrest. You know, as the whole trial was coming, it was approaching. He's probably looking for a defense. So, who knows? In the end, a guy died and he had a family. He had a wife. He had kids. He had a lot of, he had a lot of family that loved him. And he had to die in front of his house with his son or his grandson running out there talking about Papa, Papa, and find his grandfather or his dad dead. Like, it's terrible. I read that he wasn't dating the niece and that Frankie didn't want him with the niece. They were saying that was part of why he shot him. Yeah, but they're saying in some of these in these newspaper articles, now he's changing his story and saying that Donald Trump wanted him to put him under citizen's arrest. Who knows? Staxx, you gotta Google it. It's crazy shit. You ever heard of Pizzagate? The guy held up the pizza parlor in D.C. because he thought it was holding girls prisoner for him. What? Nah, man, it's some weird stuff, bro. I'll look it up, but I don't know if I'm gonna dive too crazy far into that. You know, that doesn't really it doesn't intrigue me. You know, Angel, even Scotland, we are aware of FBI and his disgusting trolling of you and your family. It's funny, Robert. He says I'm obsessed with him. It's crazy, man. Crazy. I swear, his goal, that is his goal. His goal is to get Angel to get a lawsuit against him, the National Enquirer to pick it up, right? Angel has a lawsuit against blah, 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 fat piggy, right? And then that's going to like launch him into stardom hood or something. And then he can go run off with his other pig friends and squeal along. Well, he can have fun. I don't think it's going to get him too far. And I think the talking he's doing lately, he's just digging himself. He's digging himself right into federal prison. So just keep doing it, man. Keep going. People don't know when to stop. They don't know when to shut up, you know? And he definitely doesn't know when to shut up. If you listen to some of the things he said, it's disgusting. I don't even give it my time. I won't indulge in any of it. Definitely. He has more problems than people think. Piggy is delusional. I don't want to turn my show into that type of shit, you know? The show was about the Ghost Gambino, Mr. Frank Cali. And I appreciate everyone who came and checked out my show. I got a lot of other shows I'm going to be dropping. I'll give you a hint on a couple of them. This one is pretty crazy. The DC Sniper. One of them is the DC Sniper case. I interviewed Ignacio Esteban again, the ATF agent who was involved in the DC sniper case. He was involved with El Chapo, a whole bunch of different people. So I have interview with him that we did about the DC sniper, a couple other ones that we did, but I got one about this. Oh wait, we did this one yesterday. I got one about woman arrested $40 million in fake goods. $40 million. She was selling fake goods. Another one, this Florida bodybuilder killed his ex-wife. Craziness. We're going to get into those stories tomorrow. I appreciate everyone who watches my show. You guys are all great, and thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like my show, get in the bathroom. And if you do, then hey, stick around. It's going to get better and better. I appreciate everyone. Thank you, man. And I'll see you guys tonight. I'll be over at Angel's watching her show. Peace out, everybody.